yoga. My name is Myra. I'm the kids yoga teacher for CF Yogi, and I have 2 children that have cystic fibrosis. Jack and Abigail were actually here practicing this with me today for our live class, but we had some trouble with our internet because it's storming outside. So I came down while they're upstairs doing treatment. You might even be able to hear the ceiling shake during our practice to re-record this so you could practice along at home without any interruptions. All right, I'm going to get really quiet now for the very beginning of practice, so maybe you will be able to hear the ceiling shake. While we start our practice, just paying attention to our breath. So just for a few moments, we're going to close our eyes. Make sure we're in just a comfortable position. It doesn't need to be a yoga pose, just a comfortable, ideally seated position so we can take our full breaths and just pay attention to how the air feels coming maybe in through our nose today, maybe out through our nose or out through our mouth. So no need to change your breath. Just take this opportunity because maybe even though we're always breathing, we're not always paying attention to it. So this might be the first time all day, all week, all month that you just stop to pay attention to your breath. So don't worry, we're not going to be here for long. Closing our eyes, or if we don't feel comfortable with our eyes closed, we can just have heavy eyelids and maybe look down at the tip of our nose and just listen to our breath. Very good. I like to do that at least once a day. Even though I'm not trying to change my breath, oftentimes just listening to it helps me take fuller, deeper, more satisfying breaths. All right, now we're going to play with our breath a little with a breathing technique called bunny breath. So it's really easy. It's just 3 quick inhales in through our nose and then an exhale out through our mouth. And we do that a few times in a row. And it can really help us calm down if we're upset. So watch me practice one time and then we'll practice it together. It goes like this. Don't I kind of look like a bunny sniffing for carrots? That's how I remember the name of this breath, bunny breath. It looks like a bunny sniffing for other bunnies or maybe carrots. All right, with our hand maybe on our nose to remind us, we'll take 3 inhales. Last one. All right, I definitely feel a little more relaxed after that. I hope you guys do too. All right, now is a great time for us to warm up our bodies since we've checked in with our breath. So we'll start with some shoulder rolls. Starting with shoulder rolls backwards. So we bring our shoulders forwards, up by our ear, and back for 4 counts. Let's count it together. 1, 2, 3, and 4. We'll stop at the bottom and reverse our direction. So back up to the ears and forward. Back up to the ears and forward for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lovely, you guys. I hope your shoulders feel all nice and loose. Let's try taking 1 up and then down, then the other up, and then down, and we'll do our up, up, down, down, 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 wiggle, 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 and shake it off. Awesome. Okay, great. With our shoulders all warmed up, we're going to do just a little bit of warm up with our neck. So let's keep our body facing forward and turn just our head and our nose to one side. Very good. And then slowly let's come back forward and turn it to the other side. Lovely. Now let's consider the tip of our nose again and imagine that there's a marker on the very tip of that nose. And we want to draw a big happy face all the way down with our marker and coming up on the other side. Let's make it a little darker and trace it down and up on the other side. Lovely. Let's warm up our wrists and our ankles now. So bringing our feet onto the ground, we want to lean back a little onto our hands, and we're going to lift up one leg and just twirl that ankle around, however it feels good, whatever direction feels good. Maybe you want to switch directions. All right, once you got that down, We're gonna add a challenge and see if we can lift up our other foot. Now, if it's hard for you to balance there, don't worry about it. Just put the one foot down and keep twiddling, or maybe both of them. Feels really great. I know it looks pretty cool on camera, doesn't it? All right, well, if you think this looks cool, what if I add my hand? Can you add your hand with me? Very good. And the grand finale, 2 hands, 2 feet. We're in boat pose. Wouldn't you know it? We're already doing yoga poses. All right, very good. Coming back to our easy seat, our very last stretch is going to be one for all of our major muscle groups. It's a stretch called a sun salutation. So less of a stretch, more of a yoga flow where we link together some yoga poses into an entire sequence. Again, called a sun salutation. So today's yoga adventure is an adaptation of one of my favorite Cosmic Kids yoga adventures called Peter Cottontail and the Tickly Monkeys. For today, let's start with our sun salutation, a little bit of a spring sun salutation at the top of our mats. So the very first yoga pose is our mountain pose. We root down strong with our feet, maybe come forward onto our toes and back onto our heels, and then finally settle so that we have weight in all 4 corners of our feet. Now we're going to circle sweep our arms up, reaching up and saying, hello, sun, and then hinging at our hips and folding down. We'll look down at the ground into our forward fold and say, hello, daffodils. Have you seen all the beautiful flowers that are popping out this spring? I love it. All right, now bending our knees as generously as we need to plant our hands onto the ground. We're going to take our left foot back behind us. Now we're in a runner's lunge. Let's take that left knee now and put it on the ground. See if we can either flatten that back foot or leave the toes curled underneath, whatever's most comfortable for you, to push down into both feet and come up into a high lunge. Very good. Now we're going to take our hands that are in front of us, helping us counterbalance, wrap them around, and stack our elbows on top of each other for Tweety Bird pose. Tweet, tweet, tweet. Lovely. All right, bringing our hands back down to the ground. Let's lift up that left leg and bring our right foot back to meet the left foot in plank pose. Here for just a moment until we lower our knees to the ground. Bend our elbows, come all the way down, and then wiggling our shoulders up, we come into today's variation is caterpillar pose, like a hungry caterpillar, nom, 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 maybe rocking back and forth. Very good. Curling our toes underneath us again. Let's come into tabletop, maybe stretch back into child's pose, and then finally, reaching our bottoms up in the air, we come up into down dog pose. Lovely. Now in down dog, we can have our legs straight or we can bend them. And this time let's try bending them and looking forward and shaking our bunny tails. So very good. All right, that left leg again is going to be the one that moves. We'll stretch it up into the air. We call this sometimes 3-legged dog with our puppy tail up in the air. And let's bring that leg through in between our hands. Bring the right knee down this time. Very good. Keep your toes curled or untucked. We'll lift up. Very good. And then we'll bring our hands with the other arm on top this time into Tweety Bird pose. Lovely. All right, bringing our hands back down to either side of our foot. We'll take that back leg and rock it up so that our right foot comes to meet our left foot. And we're in forward fold again. Hello, daffodils. Now, bending our knees generously, we'll circle sweep our arms up and say, hello, sun, one more time. Last pose is to bring our hands to our heart in mountain pose with namaste. Very good. All right, I hope you all feel nice and warmed up and ready to go on our yoga adventure. All right, so to start, we need to leave our house, and so we'll do so practicing our door pose. Coming down to your knees, let's take our right leg out to the side. Very good, which means we'll take our left arm straight up in the air, reaching up nice and tall, and then bending over, we open our door with a curl reaching those fingertips all the way over towards our toes. Very good. Now we need to close the door behind us. So starting in door pose again, this time we'll take our other leg out. So taking our left leg out to the side, we'll reach up with our right arm, reaching up as tall as we can, and then we'll finally bend over and close the door behind us. Very good. Well, we've made it out to the garden, so let's tiptoe through the garden, coming to the back of the mat. We'll tiptoe, tiptoe, tiptoe until we find it's Peter Cottontail. It's the Easter Bunny. He's nibbling some grass. Let's come down to our hands and knees. I don't think he sees us yet. And we're going to practice our hare pose or our bunny pose here. So we're going to circle sweep our arms around behind our back and see if we can interlace our fingers. If you can't, it's fine just to make a shape like this with your hands. But if you can't, interlace your fingers, bringing those hands behind your back and then bringing our head down to the mat, seeing if we can have the very top flat part of our head down on the mat, tucking down and then lifting our arms behind us into hare pose. Very good. So we tap Peter Cottontail on the shoulder, tap, 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 and he sees we're here and he's so excited. He does bunny hops. Let's practice our bunny hops together. So bringing our hands strong on the ground, we're going to curl our toes up into down dog pose, bending our knees like we did before when we wagged our fluffy bunny tail. This time we're going to jump up into the air. So let's all jump into our bunny hops at the same time. We'll do 3 of them. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And last one. 1, 2, 3. Very good. All right, we are so excited to see Peter Cottontail, and he has brought an Easter basket with him, but the Easter basket is empty. He tells us that he doesn't have any eggs. We need to go help him fill up his Easter basket with eggs. So let's practice our bowl pose for our Easter basket, coming down to our belly. We're going to kick our legs up behind us, swim one hand around, and then swim the other hand around. Now, if you can grab your foot, that's awesome. Maybe you could even grab the inside of your foot or the outside, or if you can just hang onto your pant leg too, that's a great variation of this pose. We're going to take an inhale and reach up with our feet and our arms. Very good. Making a bowl to keep all of our eggs in when we go find them. All right, coming back down, we're gonna go into bicycle pose to head off in the forest and see where we can find our eggs. So coming to lay on our backs, arms out to the side, legs up in the air, let's go cycling. Roly-poly, 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 up, up, up. Roly-poly, 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 down, down, down. Roly-poly, ever so slowly. Roly-poly, 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 quick, 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 and we made it. Let's rock and roll up to seated. We've landed in a beautiful forest. Coming up to stand, let's practice our tree pose. We start, as we did with our sun salutation, in a nice, strong mountain pose. But instead of having 2 legs rooted into the ground, we're going to have just 1 leg rooted. Let's make our right leg nice and strong so that we can bend our left knee and start to pick up that heel. Maybe we swivel that foot around so that our left heel is right on top of our right foot. Very good. Now you're in tree pose with your legs. Let's bring our arms into it by bringing them to our hearts in our namaste pose. And then we can grow our tree up nice and tall. Look at those beautiful trees. You stay right there. I'm going to see if I can come blow you down. Ready? Here I come. You stay right there. Wow, those are some incredibly strong trees. I think we could climb one of these trees. Let's climb one together. Up we go, up we go, up we go. All right, at the top of the tree, let's have a look around. Putting on our binoculars, so taking our finger to our thumb and bringing them to our eyes, we have a look around. I see a turtle. And that turtle looks like he has an egg. Should we see if he'll let us have the egg for Easter, since Easter Bunny doesn't have any to give to the kids? Yeah, okay, let's go ahead and hop down out of this tree. All right, on the count of 3, let's all jump down together and then we'll land in a hop. Ready? 1, 2, 3, hop! And then we'll land down here. Oh, very good. Okay, so now that we're out of the tree, let's go talk to that turtle. Coming down to our bottoms, we'll practice our turtle pose with our feet out wide, but are stamped onto the ground. We'll take one hand and put it underneath our right knee, and then the left hand and put it underneath our left knee, and then we'll bow our heads in our turtle pose. So Tommy the turtle's head is in his shell, tap, 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 his shell, and he looks up and he says, hello. And we ask him politely if we could have his egg for Easter. And he says, ah, yes. Well, since you asked so nicely, I suppose you could have my egg. I wish I had more to give you, but they've all gone missing. That sounds odd. I guess we'll have to look elsewhere to get more eggs to fill up our basket for the Easter Bunny to have them to give to kids at Easter. Nevertheless, we tell Tommy the turtle thank you. Bringing our hands to our heart, we tell him namaste. And then we head off on the forest. So let's hop back on our bikes, coming down to our backs. And this time, we're feeling a little more of a sense of urgency. It wasn't quite as easy to get the eggs as we thought, so let's try a little bit of a bicycle variation. Interlacing our fingers and putting our hands behind our heads this time. Let's bring our feet up, and then let's lift our heads up, making sure that there's plenty of space, about a fist's worth of space, in between our chin and our throat to protect our necks as we do our bicycles. Roly-poly, 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 up, up, up. Roly-poly, 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 down, down, down. Okay, extra challenge. See if you can bring your elbow over to your leg as you roly-poly, ever so slowly. Great job with the elbows. Stay still this time. Roly-poly, 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 quick, quick, quick. All right, we've made it, rocking and rolling up to seated, to a nice lake. And right in the lake, there's a boat that's waiting for us. So let's practice our boat pose. Sitting up nice and tall so that our shoulders are down away from our ears and our chests are reaching out. Our heart is reaching forward. We'll lean back. Very good. So you can, this is boat pose. You can have your hands on your knee here, or you can lift up one foot, lift up 2 feet, or maybe lift up one arm, or lift up the other arm, and maybe you do an ecstatic boat pose. Yay! Very good. All right, you guys, if your bellies shake while you're doing that pose, you're in good company. They always do for me too. It's a great pose to make your core nice and strong. All right, let's take that boat rowing across the lake. So we'll take our legs out nice and long in front of us, and we're going to use our foot as an oar. So bringing your foot to your hand, we'll row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a ring, ring, ring. Did you guys hear that? The phone's ringing. Let's answer it. Hello? Oh, hi, Belinda. It's our friend Belinda. Yes. Your eggs have gone missing? You've got to be kidding me. Belinda is a hen. She has tons of eggs, and they're all gone? Oh my goodness. Belinda, I will call you right back. Belinda's eggs are missing. How are we going to find eggs if hens don't have them? We better get across this lake. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 merrily. Oh, let's get the phone. Hello? Oh, it's Belinda again. Oh, she has an idea. She thinks Colonel Crocodile might know where they are. Well, we're in the right spot, Belinda. I think I see Colonel Crocodile right over there. Okay, I'll call you back. All right, bye. Thank goodness. Colonel Crocodile's right here. Let's practice our crocodile pose by coming to lay on our sides. Very good. We're going to take our arms up over our head and snap them. Very good, like a crocodile. So Colonel Crocodile is very excited to see us. He swishes his crocodile tail and says, hello, good to see you. And we tell him that we're looking for missing eggs. Could he have any idea where they are? And he says, yes, I do have an idea. So coming up to sit, we asked him to tell us about it. And he tells us that the tickly monkeys have taken all of the Easter eggs because they don't want to share them. They want them all for themselves, and they've hidden them away in their cave so that no kids can have them for Easter. This sounds like a terrible thing. We said we were going to help the Easter Bunny find eggs, but come to find out, the monkeys have already found them and they're hidden them all away. We're starting to get very worried. And when we get worried, our breathing starts to get a little more shallow and maybe even a little more fast. So let's remember our bunny breath and see if that can help us calm down so we can figure out a way to get these eggs back. Okay, practicing our bunny breath. If you remember, 3 breaths in through our nose, 1 out through your mouth. I've got it! I've hatched a plan to get the eggs back. Let's practice our egg pose. So tucking our knees in and wrapping our arms around our legs, I'll tell you what I've got in mind. All right, so if we sit here long enough and pretend that we're an egg, those tickly monkeys are gonna come capture us and take us into their cave. But it's okay, because we will wait until they go to sleep, and then we'll come out of our egg pose and we'll gather up all of the other eggs into our basket and sneak out of the cave and give them back to the Easter Bunny so he can take them to the kids for Easter. Colonel Crocodile is still right here. So practicing Colonel Crocodile pose on the other side, like here, taking our arms out wide, he swishes his tail and says, "Perfectamundo, CF Yogis, that's a great idea." So we're ready to pretend that we're an egg. So this time, let's pretend that we're an egg that has rolled over forwards. So we'll take our hands beside us and we're going to bring our head down, just like our bunny pose before, but with our hands to our side. And we're going to practice our tiny little mouse pose, or in this story, we're an egg that's rolled forward. And we make ourselves comfortable here and wait for those tickly monkeys to come along. And before you know it, we can feel them lifting us up. So taking our hands from our sides and tickling our back, we pretend that we can feel those monkeys lifting us up and taking us into the cave. But we're not scared because everything is going according to plan. Yes. Now they set us in the cave and we can peek out and see, yes, we're in good company. We're surrounded with all of the other eggs that they've collected. Now that all we need to do is wait until they fall asleep. And before we know it, we start to hear some snores. The monkeys have fallen asleep, so coming ever so slowly out of our child's pose. Very good. Let's get our basket coming onto our belly slowly as we can. Very good. We lift our feet up into the air, circle our hands around, maybe one at a time. Very good. Grabbing onto our feet, and on an inhale, we lift our feet and our arms up into our bowl pose. Very good. Now let's fill up our basket with the eggs. Coming back up into hero pose. We grab our eggs and we put them into our basket. Very good. All right, now let's tiptoe with our basket out of this cave. Coming to the back of the mat, we tiptoe, 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 and oh, what was that sound? Oh goodness. It was just a butterfly coming down, taking the soles of our feet together and wiggling our knees out to the side like fluttering butterfly wings. Our friend Betty, the butterfly, says, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to startle you. What are you guys doing in this cave?" And we show her our basket. We tell her our plan. And she says, "Skedaddle out of here. I think those monkeys are waking up." So we get up and we keep tiptoeing out of the cave. And we heard another noise. Thank goodness. It was just our friend Simon the snake coming down to our bellies into snake pose, wiggling up. Simon says, "Excuse me, I'm so sorry to surprise you." And we tell him, "Simon, we're just trying to get out of here as fast as we can." So coming back up, we finally tiptoe, 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 and we made it out of the cave. Yay! But just as we start to celebrate, we hear those monkeys start to jump. They say, "Ooh, ah, ooh, ah, ooh, ah," and they're chasing us. So we run in place. We run and run and run until we find the And he tells us, stop, don't worry, I have a plan. Go ahead and sit down into a nice easy seat, and he shows us, see this Easter egg? All of these Easter eggs that you've collected for us? Well, if we turn them upside down, they're in a balloon shape. I can turn us into a magical hot air balloon and float up and out of the forest and back home. So let's practice our hot air balloon pose. Sitting in a nice, easy, comfortable seat. We take our hands to our mouth, take a deep breath in, and on our exhale, we blow up our hot air balloon. Inhale. Exhale. And one more time. Inhale. Exhale. Very good. The biggest and most beautiful hot air balloons we've ever seen, floating up, up, up over the forest. We see Tommy the turtle. We see Colonel the crocodile. We even see our friend Betsy the butterfly and Simon the snake, and we bid them all farewell as we land softly back at our home, letting our hands fall down to our sides. What an adventure we were just on. Let's come back up to our knees and let ourselves back in the door to home. Taking our right foot out to the side, our left hand up in the air, reaching up, 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 and over, bringing our fingers to our toes. Very good. We open the door, and ever so softly, we close it behind us. Taking our left hand out, our right hand up in the air, our left foot out, and our right hand up in the air, and leaning over to that side. We close the door behind us, and we finally can rest in our beds. So bringing your feet out long in front of you, we'll lean forward and reach for the covers at the bottom of our feet and pull those covers up, 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 all the way up to our armpits. Snuggled so comfortably in our beds. We can wiggle our feet back and forth last time, maybe wiggle our wrists one last time before we let them completely relax into our yoga mat. What a marvelous adventure today. I hope you all feel really good about the ways that you moved your bodies, about the ways that you were brave today, about your practicing, getting excited, getting worked up, getting a little bit worried, and then calming down to think clearly so you could come up with a plan to get yourself out of that pickle. Like today, when we were worried we weren't going to be able to get the eggs. We come up with a great idea to find them. Another one of the themes in today's class was that we used our manners. We said please and thank you. And we also helped to find the Easter eggs so that everyone could share them. So those monkeys wanted to keep all of the Easter eggs to themselves. Do you ever feel that way when you're on an Easter egg hunt? Like, I just want all the eggs. But we know that someone else is going to be really sad not to have any eggs. So my kids surprised me this morning when I watched them on the Easter egg hunt see an egg, but wait for the other one to see it too, so that they could be fair. Even though they were really excited to have all the eggs for themselves, they knew that everyone would be happy if they were able to share, which is just an awesome thing to do. When we're really worked up and worried, sometimes we think we need to take all of everything. But if we calm down and we think about how that's going to make us feel and make other people feel, we might realize, maybe it is better to share. All right, one more minute here, nice and relaxed. We can take a deep breath in through our nose, out through our mouth. Last time in through our nose and out through our mouth before we nice and gently start to wiggle our fingers, wiggle our toes, and if your eyes have closed, you can flutter them open, and we'll wake our bodies up with a big good morning stretch before we pull our knees into our chest. We're in an egg pose, but upside down. Isn't that funny? It's child's pose, but upside down. So rocking from side to side. And then finally, we can either rock all the way over onto one side and lift ourselves up from there, or we can rock up to a seat and meet. Whichever way you decided to get back up in a nice comfortable seat, we'll bring our hands to our hearts and finish our yoga practice with the secret yoga code word. Let's all say it together on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Namaste.